With the energies of the Fool, I'm hearing I'm ready. So somebody is ready to take things to the next level. They're ready to take you out on a romantic date. They're ready to look into your eyes and tell you that they love you. They're ready to take you home to meet their family. They're ready to take you out and introduce you to their friends. They are ready for whatever the future holds between the two of you. This is somebody who has softened into the reality that feels very right inside of them, that it's you and me forever. This is somebody it feels like that has gone through several metamorphoses in the time since you have been in their life. You have held a mirror up for this person as far as like fears and aspects inside of themselves that they were ashamed of, a side of them that came out at a certain point in this connection that spoke to a degree of cowardice in the face of love, or an aspect of them that was like a manifestation of their shadow. So maybe they kind of like took it out on you that people in the past were careless with their heart, mistook their kindness for weakness, sort of they'd given their trust to people and that trust was broken very easily. And so it feels like at times where you were showing up very genuinely, or there had been particular experiences, maybe things going on in your life or something that happened between the two of you, it's almost like the worst side of this person came out. And there was a lot of regret about that. You may have had like a period of silence and distance with this person. There definitely could have been some like back and forth, on and off with this person. This feels like somebody you've been dealing with for like a long-term sense. There's been periods of silence, extended periods of separation, but this is now somebody who has kind of like reached out. They've made the effort, or they're getting ready to reach out and make the effort to kind of pick up where you left off from, but to really get started for real on the next chapter between the two of you. So everything that they didn't do before, they're ready to do now. This is somebody that has definitely grown a lot as a person. They have evolved a lot as a person, through the course of your dealings with one another. Times where you have held space for them and been very patient has been instrumental in providing this person with like an anchored home base that they could return to, in the process of kind of like finding themselves, maybe like making certain mistakes only to come back around to the rightness and the truth of who they really are, and then that leading to like how the two of you align with one another. Times also where you've put up very firm boundaries with this person. At the end of the day, you've chosen yourself, and it feels like this has been a very kind of like harsh but necessary lesson for them that has necessitated some kind of like accelerated growth, something where they have pushed past boundaries and barriers. They've fought with their lesser nature, which would have kind of just preferred that they give in maybe to an energy of self-sabotage or a belief that they're no good at love, they're no good at relationships, they always mess things up, that would have just perpetuated kind of a stage you were in with one another. Not a cycle, but a stage that you were in, a chapter of your story together that you were in, where the going got tough and they chickened out. Things fell through. You took a bold step forward in a different direction and they chose not to follow. And there's a sense of almost kind of like they have moved beyond that part of themselves that has been willing to sacrifice this connection, or thought maybe it was easier to sort of like lose you then rather than lose you in the future. This is somebody that it feels like, if there hasn't been like a reconnection yet, if you haven't like started back in your conversations or your interactions with someone, if this is something where there's been like an extended period of being away from one another, when this person comes back around, this time you're going to sense that there's something like really different about them. This is like big life change that's taken place, major like toxic habits on their part that they've cut out of their life. This is something where it's maybe even kind of like mind, body, and soul. This person's been retrofitted. This is somebody that has kind of rebirthed themselves into the next manifestation of them on site, in the method of delivery, kind of like the things that they're focusing on, how they're able to communicate, or even just something where they might like look better, they might look healthier, they may look more at peace than they were before. All of these things, it feels like, are going to be part of like the calling card that this person utilize to create like a second first impression, or to try and kind of not just convince you with promises or empty words of like, I've changed, I'm making changes, I'm trying to be better, but it's something where it's almost kind of like they've been very particular about sort of like when that moment is to reconnect, because they understand that maybe your trust with them is wearing thin, or what you've been through with one another up to this point in time, that this stage of your connection, this chapter of your relationship, demands big action, big results, big evidence that they've like left something behind. They've shed a version of themselves. They have put their money where their mouth is, and they have truly created transformation inside of themselves, so that if you are willing to take them back, if you're willing to, have experiences with them, if you're willing to continue to move forward along this journey that the two of you are on, that you can be confident that the person coming towards you, offering partnership, that they have kind of like increased the nature of what they have to sort of give or contribute or exchange in this connection. And that's because it's something that has to do with kind of their personal value and worth. This is somebody that is leveled up. They've spent time working on themselves, and so they know for a fact that like the life they're living, it's healthier, it's better, it's more aligned with like beautiful things, or their higher self, or like a higher vibrational version of them. And so it's not empty-handed that this person comes back towards you just expecting you to stoop or lower your standards or put up with kind of like whatever were the issues of the past. This isn't somebody that's just trying to come in and sort of like, sing a nice tune to you and sort of like sell you on a dream that isn't a real reality. This is somebody that's like, I have implemented certain changes within myself, partially inspired by, I want to get you back. I don't want to miss out on this. I don't want to be left behind in this situation. And mostly inspired by a profound level of love for themselves that they have just developed, or even kind of like you stepping away from this situation, putting up like a very firm boundary. It has caused this person to look in the mirror, to take accountability in some way, to kind of like sit in the nature of sort of like what aspects of their self that had gone like unchecked, like an unchecked woundedness, kind of the cost. And it feels like they are well aware that the cost of certain things, certain parts of their personality, or their woundedness, the cost of that in the past was the potential between the two of you. So it's almost like a peace offering that this person wants to bring forth, it not just in terms of like, here's this gift, here's this grand gesture, here's all these like beautiful honeyed words that are just gonna, kind of like warm you up inside, but it's something where it's like the messenger, the person delivering that themselves, there'll be evidence of this. This is somebody that it feels like has truly turned over a new leaf. They have created profound changes within, where regardless of what's happened between the two of you in the past, it feels like whatever this offer is, or this desire to kind of like restart things between the two of you or move in a better direction, it's something that it feels like you'll take very seriously into consideration, because it comes with a lot of kind of like energetic backing, emotional backing, just the vibe, the presentation of this person. It is so different from the version of them that you were dealing with earlier. Yeah, we've got Wheel of Fortune. So this is somebody that is very optimistic, very hopeful. They are anticipating the best in this situation. There's a sense of like, you made it very clear what you would not tolerate in the past, and they've worked on those things. You may have given this person ultimatum. They took that seriously, and they've gotten down to business. In the midst of like a period of silence between the two of you, this is somebody that's been working behind the scenes. They've been working to change habits within themselves and within their life. This is also somebody that has worked to improve their relationship with themselves. They recognize that they had self-sabotaging tendencies. Things were going well. Things had the potential to be very beautiful between the two of you, and they are the one that threw the wrench in the plans. They are the one that kind of like jumped off the ride. They are the person that, for whatever it is that they were like bringing to the table, it created complications that didn't need to be there. This is somebody that wants to offer a living amends to you, kind of like, I have made the following changes within my life, so what I bring forth is just not an empty excuse. I don't come just with my tail between my legs begging you to give me another chance or take me back. I bring to you the necessary apologies. I honor and acknowledge where I went wrong in this situation, but I also bring to you the development of aspects of myself, my character, improvements in the way that I'm living my life, and the company that I am keeping, that at face value will help you to see and to understand that I mean what I say when I say I have changed. We also have strength. So it feels like it's taking a lot of courage for this person to approach you. This is somebody that may be a very proud person. It's very hard for them to admit when they are wrong. It feels like if you had put up that firm boundary with them, you'd chosen yourself, you got out of kind of the chapter of your story that was not serving your highest good, your interest, or was creating a lot of like, sadness and hurt for you. This is something that it feels like that was a huge blow to this person's ego. It's like nobody ever walked away from them before, or maybe in the way that you did that with tact, with dignity, with grace, that could be something that totally shattered them. They were expecting and they were used to kind of like toxicity, back and forth, pettiness, underhandedness. That is the type of people they'd connected with in the past. And the fact of how you exited this situation in this person's life spoke volumes about like who you are as a person. It shined a light on the fact that like if they were able to kind of like take the things you said to heart, or maybe you said nothing and they were kind of just left with themselves, left to their own devices, left to kind of like see their own reflection and sort of deal with that. This is something, it was the necessary time and space that has helped this person to like take ownership about certain things, make changes because you had wanted them to, but also because they knew that it was time. This person might have had some tower moments as well that kind of made it necessary. There was no other choice but to rebuild in a better direction. And so it's taking a lot on their part, it feels like, to come towards you, because there's a sense of like they're confident, they're certain that what they have to give demonstrates that they are a very different person than who you were dealing with before, or in the course of, your relationship with one another, kind of like something that may have been very long term with one another, like there's been ups and downs, but they've changed as a person. But there's also something where they feel very empowered by the idea that whether you reject them or whether you're like, okay, I'll give this a chance, we can see where this goes, the pace of how things unfold may be different. The power dynamic may be different. You may be the one who feels most comfortable being in charge, calling the shots, setting the tone, not just giving this person sort of like full access or entrusting them to lead the connection forward because of what happened before. This is somebody that's like fully prepared for either the rejection or the sense of like, yeah, let's find a way forward with this. And they're at a point in their life which also speaks to a very profound level of like personal growth and transformation inside of them, that either way it's a blessing. Either way it's kind of like, if you reject me, if I come towards you and I fall flat on my face, I'm at a point within myself that I'm not just going to project onto you. I'm not just going to allow that to embitter me. I'm going to take that as kind of like notice from the universe that sometimes all we can do in this life is just accept the things that we are powerless to change, and that this person will like hold on to the beautiful memories with you, or the opportunity that they had with you. This is somebody that even if you reject them, will always hold you in a loving space in their heart. This is somebody, though, that is very hopeful that whatever it is that they are bringing forth, whatever they've been working on within themselves behind the scenes, will be enough to convince you to give them another chance, to see them with fresh eyes, to not just judge them based on the mistakes that they made in this connection in the past, or things that might have been going on inside of them that made them only capable of broken love. It feels like this person needed to do some healing. They needed to do that shadow work, and that was work that couldn't take place in connection with you. It's like they got a taste of what was possible. You each had to go your separate ways for a period of time in order for this person to reflect, to kind of like have themselves kind of like make those changes for themselves first and foremost, but also motivated by the sense of like, I don't want to lose this person. I want to be able to kind of come forth and speak my truth. I want to have something to offer to this person. And I know that what I was bringing to the table before, it was not enough. It was not good enough because it was coming from a place inside of me where I didn't feel good enough. So this is somebody that is like, if you are willing to kind of hear them out, give them another chance, allow them to make a second first impression. This is somebody that's almost like, I know that I can do better this time around. I know that things will be better moving forward because I've taken the time to create better inside of myself. And so it is not empty-handed that this person comes towards you. Again, this is something where it's going to be very obvious physically when you see this person, energetically, the way in which they communicate, their presence. It feels like even your sort of like your intuition, your nervous system is going to like let you know with this individual, like, yeah, it might be scary, the idea to trust them, based on things that had happened in the past, but there's almost something within you that it feels like will be very like calm, very attentive, like you'll hear this person out, which will be a very strong indicator, or should be a strong indicator of like, yeah, there may be work to kind of get beyond whatever happened to a place where you're really comfortable with one another. But if you're willing to allow this person to kind of like prove to you that they've changed their tune, or they're taking a different approach, or they've gone through some kind of change inside of themselves, it's definitely something that would be worth your while. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.